Hello everyone, here psst.one. Today another interview with Vanta. He is a coder based here in Berlin. He worked in the past with Minus Records. He is working with Pfadfinderei studio alongside other interactive and visual projects. But you will see in this interview. So, enjoy! You are more a coder than a DJ. When did you start to code for visuals?
Well, almost at the beginning. The reality is that I started VJing. That was the first thing. So I started mixing video clips I download online and mixing them on venues in Granada where I studied. And then really early on, the first months after that, I discovered Resolume 2, version 2, and it had like the option to integrate Flash inside. And there you could code a little bit in ActionScript to make these clips a little bit reactive to sound or to something. Also to change the typography and say, write the name of the DJ, or, basic stuff. But that was the first moment I realized the power of code. I was like, oh wow, this is really, I don't have to edit 20 clips. I can just do one and then change it 20 times. So that's where I started, because from my studies, I'm not coming from there. I'm coming from totally a different field. I studied environmental resource management, and I liked in my free time to do VJ and then discover code, and then I follow that path and led me to where I am.
You are one of the coders of Pfadfinderei studio. You started 3 years ago with them. How is work in this studio?
Yeah, with the studio it's nice. I mean, at the beginning it was difficult because they are, as I said, an old school studio and they are used to work in the old school way. For us visualizers, somehow this is like a very craftsman way of working. They sculpt with keyframes. They are really sitting down on the bench and really doing the stuff manually, like what I think that is manual. And at the beginning, letting them know what is possible with the new technologies and what and why does it make sense and why it doesn't for some other projects. That was hard, but once they get it, once they understood the possibilities, then it's fun. Yeah. The last 2 years have been intense, really hard work, but fun. Yeah, I like Pfadfinderei. There's this. I learned a lot about design that I didn't know because I'm coming from another background. So with them, I learned really a lot about design. They are really good at what they do.
You also worked with 2VP, the visual application of Ali Demirel. Why did you work with them?
Because I did my internship here in Berlin in Minus. That was my first official job somehow in Berlin, and that was with under the arm from Ali actually. That was one of the reasons I love Berlin, because Ali. Back in Granada, Ali was my inspiration. He was like my idol, let's say. The first time he came to Granada to play with Richie Houghton, and I saw the live show, it was like, wow, that's something new. That's not the usual show I'm used to. There's nobody dancing or, this is just abstract and digital and looks so from the future that really changed my way of thinking about design, about visuals. Ali was in that moment creating the application 2VP with Pascal Sport. He's a very good programmer, and he was developing the application for Ali. Ali had before like a VDMX patch, but he wanted in his vision of minimalism, of not using what you don't need and not even having it, he wanted to reduce his tools to only what he's actually using. Yeah. So Pascal was there doing that, and I entered the project as to help a little bit Pascal, and also as project social manager, a little bit support in the support and on the sales, coding the website, doing a little bit of everything. I was really happy to be an intern there. Yeah.
In the past, you also collaborate with the Stratofisica collective. Which was your part in the project?
I'm seen more like a coder, so people come to me to solve problems more than to give new points of view or design or anything. So that was the beginning. Alessandra was looking for someone that helped her to materialize her vision. She had some sensors built by Marco, and she had the visuals she was doing by herself. She does fantastic stuff, and she wanted to connect them somehow. She wanted to make this happen, and that's why she looked for me. And then it grew into something different. At the end, we share part of the visual output. So she was doing some parts, and I was doing some others. So there were video, really precise design and really well done into the beat exact. Like with Alessandra's eye, and then I was doing some other random interactive parts that were more, yeah.
It's nice when you find a group of people that
you finding the balance is not easy, and with them was just straight away. It was just there since the beginning, yeah.
You also have another passion, visual with analog gear. Why?
Well, in my head, in my mind, it's actually the same thing. I'm learning all the time non-stop, and learning electronics is a little bit another dimension of how I code, because I like to think in code as signal processing. Somehow shaders give you that vision that you don't have so much objects, and you like the processing way of seeing code, that you have objects and you object-oriented programming, right? I like to think more about it lately as a signal processing way, and electronics is all about that. And when you learn that I don't know, a ring modulator in audio is actually just a multiplier, oh, okay. So I like these moments where when your head just make the click and you understand something new, and electronics is bringing me this joy again. So I really like it, and the aesthetics are nice, and it's easy. It's also like we were saying of minimalism and bringing down to the minimum your options and not getting lost into the wildness of possibilities. So you just have, I don't know, 10 modules that make analog video, and you have 2 mixers, and this is what you have, and you have to play with it, and it's a challenge to yourself to find the best output that you can come up with. LCX Industries website, there's a nice article about how to use audio for video, and I like to think it in like the same in the programming way. So when you have a float, like a one-dimension number, that would be like an LFO. If you have a 2-dimension number, that would be more like an audio, where you can make horizontal lines, and a Beck 3, that would be video for me in my head. So.
Did you play live with the analog system?
Yeah, I play with visual with an analog system. For example, this summer I played in Melt Festival for FIAC. For example, I did the whole session for FIAC with the analog gear. That was super fun to play. That was again a challenge to myself to find a new way of doing things and to experiment. And I did help the Pfadfinderei guys with model selector. with some analog gear. So bringing again together two different aesthetics, like because model selector is very graphical, it's very Pfadfinderei, and then I brought this analog, noisy, dirty thing into it, and it was fun. It was good. Yeah. I'm starting to learn analog gear, and now that I know a little bit of, I'm starting to design my own thing. So I would love to create something and put it on the hands of people and see what they do with it.
What do you see in the future of visual?
I see a broad, wide, open field. It's not anymore like before. People were doing just clips and as I said, dancing girls on the screen. Now people find their way and say, hey, there's a niche here where I can do my own thing and I can have my own style, like Gemma. Gemma has a unique aesthetics and she can really do it not just for visuals but for every kind of art. And I think that's happening. The people are understanding now that tools are just a medium. It's not the final output. Just the tool by itself doesn't bring anything. You have to put your own thing and your own vision. And this is what people are understanding now, are using. So it's not anymore just one way. I see it like spreading into many different fields. Yeah, people are doing mapping. People are doing interactive installations. We are all, or most of us, coming from the VJ community. So this is this view of, yeah.